If you were to ask me what makes Kirby so enjoyable, I'd definitely say the simplicity of it all. Or the fact that I'm pretty sure this face can cure type 2 diabetes, but let's just go with the first one for now. Ever since its conception, series creator Masahiro Sakurai set out to accomplish one goal: create a game that anyone can enjoy. Yeah, even you, get over here.
Oh, me?
This wasn't just exclusive to the mainline titles either. Even Kirby's spin-off adventures adapted this approach to game design. They take a concept that has been done before, trim all the fat, and just focus on what makes the core gameplay so satisfying. Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby Tilt and Tumble, and Dedede's Drum Dash Deluxe are all examples of this. However, the best example, and my personal favorite Kirby spin-off, is without a doubt Kirby Air Ride. Now, this game technically started development on the N64 and aimed to give the racing genre the old Kirby treatment. The project would go through multiple revisions and would ultimately be cancelled on the N64, until finally resurfacing on the Nintendo GameCube as the Kirby Air Ride we all know and love. Well, that some of us all know and love. Yeah, this game received some pretty mixed reviews at the time, with most criticizing its oversimplistic gameplay and controls. But while some may see this as a downside, I actually see it as this game's biggest strength. Like I said before, at its core, Kirby Air Ride is a racing game. A racing game that's split into 3 completely unique modes. You got the mode the game is named after, Air Ride, but then you also have Top Ride and City Trial. Air Ride acts as the Grand Prix mode and is also a great way to get familiar with the controls and mechanics. For starters, you control the game by yeah, you technically don't have to touch the controller at all while playing. You can actually finish an entire race while making a cup of coffee or something in the other room. Just don't expect to do the greatest. What you do have control over, however, is braking and steering. Steering is controlled with the analog stick, surprise surprise, and braking is performed by using one of 3 buttons: L, R, or A. Now, a control scheme this simple may sound a bit lame at first, but because it's so simple, it allows the core mechanics to really shine. When it comes down to it, Kirby Air Ride has 2 main mechanics: charging and gliding. Charging is basically this game's bread and butter. You see, as you brake, you'll build up a meter which you can release for a short burst of speed. You can use this in a lot of strategic ways, such as using it to drift around corners. Learning how and when to use this technique is integral to mastering the controls. Gliding, on the other hand, allows you to temporarily fly through the air to gain access to alternate routes and shortcuts, and it feels so satisfying to pull off. The controls just feel incredibly smooth and responsive while you're in the air. These honestly might be the best flight controls I've ever seen in a game. Now, these 2 mechanics are basically what Kirby Air Ride is built upon. They may seem overly simple at first because, well, they are, but when you pair them with one of the over 15 different vehicles in the game, you'll start to see how much depth there actually is. Each vehicle reacts completely differently to these 2 mechanics. Maybe you need to charge first before you can move, or maybe you move faster while in the air. I can't think of any other racing game where all of the vehicles play this differently from one another. Each is finely tuned for a specific situation, and it can be a lot of fun experimenting with all the choices you have. The downside, however, is some choices can feel way too gimmicky. Like the Slick Star, for example, which has no traction whatsoever. Who the hell would actually pick this? It does have a pretty decent top speed, but I think the cons severely outweigh the pros here. Basically, if you pick the Slick Star,
what's wrong with you?
When it's all said and done though, this mode only gives you like 9 courses to race on, which gives it a blink and it's over kind of feeling. Thankfully, each mode in Kirby Air Ride includes a checklist of challenges for you to complete, which can add a ton of replay value. There's over 100 challenges here, ranging from finishing a race under a certain time to defeating a certain number of enemies while also coming in first. Because these challenges vary so much in terms of difficulty, you always feel like you're accomplishing something. The rewards aren't half bad either, netting you stuff like alternate Kirby colors and completely new vehicles to use. It's just a shame that without these challenges, there isn't much else offered here. Next up, we have Top Ride, also known as, oh yeah, that one. Top Ride is basically your standard top-down racer, but careful, there's two choices of vehicles. Oh shit, except there isn't. The only difference between the two is they changed the way turning works, so it's more so a control options menu disguised as a vehicle selection menu. Sakurai, you fucking lied to us. Top Ride still retains the same charging mechanic from Air Ride, and it's pretty satisfying to use here with how most of the courses are designed. But that's pretty much all I have to say about this mode. There just isn't a whole lot here. There's only like 7 courses total, and they're all fairly short. Top Ride just feels like one of those mini games from the mainline Kirbys that you play like once and never touch again. I mean, they didn't even include it on the back of the box. With the right group of friends, I could see this being pretty fun, but as it is, it's just not my cup of tea. Now, I'd understand if you were a bit disappointed with Kirby Air Ride based on just these 2 modes alone. However, Sakurai and his team definitely saved the best for last with the final mode in the game, City Trial. There's no way you haven't heard someone go on about how great City Trial is. But just in case you haven't, City Trial is absolutely brilliant. The concept is simple. You and 3 other players are thrown into a city and just told to go. From there, you can really do whatever you want for 5 or so minutes. The main goal, however, is to collect power-ups which increase specific stats of your vehicle. Collect enough of these things and you can turn one of the worst vehicles in the game into one of the best. Once time runs out, you'll be thrown into a random stadium event. These can range from something as simple as a race to even an event where you attempt to glide further than your opponents. How you play during the city portion will directly impact how you perform in these events. If it's a race, you'll want to focus on top speed and boost. If it's a battle, upgrading your offense, defense, and HP will be your best bet. I can't even begin to explain how much fun it is trying to get the best build you can before time runs out. If you like to play maliciously, you can attack other players to steal their power-ups and really set them back. Or you can take a more laid-back approach and just explore the entire city at your own pace. There's a lot to see here too, such as a forest complete with Wispy and a golf course to a full-on volcano which you can explore the inside of. Random events will also occur, such as meteors falling from the sky to even Dynablade herself making an appearance. These events are probably my favorite part of City Trial, as their random nature really helps to keep things interesting. On top of all of this, just like Air Ride and Top Ride, City Trial also has a checklist of its own complete with over 100 different challenges, some of which may just clue you in on some legendary vehicles that are hidden around the city. So yeah, there's a lot to do here. There's so much here that it kind of makes the other modes feel completely forgettable. This feels like the main event of Kirby Air Ride. This is the reason why me and so many other people keep coming back to this game. In my opinion, this is the perfect party game. The simple controls allow anyone to just jump straight in. The controller isn't an obstacle here. You don't have to waste time learning what each button does. This allows you to just focus on having fun, and is exactly why I find the Kirby approach to game design so appealing. However, City Trial just doesn't feel like it ever reaches its full potential. In fact, the same can be said about Kirby Air Ride as a whole. This game needs a sequel. Do I think it'll ever get one? Probably not, but I do think it'll receive some kind of spiritual successor someday. Sakurai and Hal seem to still be fans of City Trial at least, with references to it still being included in games to this day. Most famously with Smash for 3DS's Smash Run. While not as enjoyable as City Trial, it still incorporated the same gameplay mechanics. If anything, I think Smash Run is proof that Sakurai is still interested in the idea. So I think it's only a matter of time until something happens. But how do you feel about Kirby Air Ride? Do you think it lives up to the hype? Do you think it deserves a sequel? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Also, if you're looking for something else to watch, hey, I make other stuff too. Why not check out my last video on Animal Crossing? I got a couple of videos on Kirby too. If you're here, you probably like Kirby, so I don't know. Check out some of my other stuff. Maybe you'll like it. I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.